Hey, what is going on, everybody? It's Deltroy. We are back with some more Fire Emblem 9 Maniac mode. On the last part, we rescued Joffrey's bitch ass from imminent danger, and I had a little bit of a meltdown over the gameplay, not gonna lie. I'm gonna be perfectly honest and perfectly clear. A lot of the gameplay issues I really do feel come from Maniac, but there was a really long, detailed comment on the previous video about how some of these issues are present on normal mode as well, and I can honestly see that. For example, the enemy phases take forever sometimes. I mean, like, considerably longer than they honestly should, and I feel like there really should have been a way to skip the map animations in this game, you know? That would have been one thing that I think would have made this a lot more bearable for everybody involved, you know? There were some other small things that people have pointed out, like, just sometimes the design feels almost a little bit counterintuitive. Like, the map with the priests that are supposedly supposed to be defenseless, all of them being heavily armed with magic spells and whatnot. Now, see, that's one of those instances where it's just a Maniac mode thing, because I am 95% sure that on hard difficulty and below, most of those defenseless priests are, in fact, defenseless priests. And, of course, there's the whole enemies having incredible bulk thing. That's just... There's some things that I would change. I think that if it were up to me, Wyvern Lords would have about the defenses that Paladins do right now, and Paladins would probably have like 4 less defense. I don't know. They would have like 40 HP, 16 defense, 16 resistance, something like that at about this point, because I feel like that would be reasonable, right? You wouldn't want to send your weaker units. You wouldn't want to be taking them on with Sword Masters and whatnot, but they'd still be reasonable enough to deal with, you know? And it is a shame because there's just such a huge variety of characters in this game. You get some almost every single map, and they're all really interesting, really fun to use, but I just don't see it on Maniac mode, you know? And I think on hard mode it's probably not a big of an issue because you have to consider, I don't know if I've mentioned this or not, but you get literally twice the bonus experience. Maybe not twice, but it's like 50% or more. You get a considerable amount more in bonus experience for every chapter on lower difficulties. So that's even one more thing that really restricts who you can and who you cannot use, and it's just like, ugh. Not a terrible game by any means, don't get me wrong. And I seriously believe that the story makes up for this. If you haven't played this game, I still think that you would want to play this, even if you've been watching this from part 1 and you're going to continue watching it till the end game, you know. You might have a good idea of the story, but I'm not going to be able to show off every character, and I really think that the majority of the characters in this game are worth exploring, which is pretty rare, honestly. Pretty rare, I would say, especially given the size of the cast, you know? It's impressive to me. It really is. But it's just a shame that some silly gameplay choices kind of get in the way of that for some people. For me, personally, I can deal with it, but I can't say I wish it wasn't different. I can't say that I don't wish it wasn't a little bit different, you know what I mean? With that out of the way, I don't want to spend this whole video talking about things that I don't like, because there's a lot of things that I do like. So let's go on to Chapter 25 and continue by far the best part of this game, the story. Ike and company break the siege of Delbray Castle and join ranks with the Crimean retainers therein. Oh, you gotta be shitting me. The army grows to its largest size yet, and with the addition of the retainers, truly becomes the armed force of its name. In addition, their recent heroic acts finally moved the conservative Galians to dispatch much-needed reinforcements. Unfortunately, they have to wait 5 turns before they can spring into action. What a shame. The long-awaited warriors of Galia march through the treacherous Marhaud mountain range, a series of jagged peaks that spread across southern Crimea. They then slip through the gaps in the Daean forces and move toward Crimea's army. Galia rises. This information emboldens Ike, and he marches the army at top speed to join their new allies. Emboldens Ike of all oh man, this must be some serious shit then. I didn't realize he was cowardly before. In Chapter 25, Strange Lands. AKA Boulder Pushing Simulator, I'm pretty sure. I think I remember all the remaining maps. There's only 4. We're getting down there. Leanne, I'm coming in.
Sure, don't knock or anything.
How are you feeling?
I'm bored. When do you kick the liquor?
Ah, it is good to hear that you are well. Not surprising. It is a beautiful day. Not really. Yes, we hawks enjoy the smell of the sea as well. Then you are starting to feel more at home here? Good, good. And how is Lord Loriziah? He dead. I thought his condition might have improved. Well, let's hope for a brighter tomorrow.
Whatever.
You can understand what the Heron Princess is saying, can't you, Your Majesty? Who is Lots? Who is Lots? I assume he just must be some retainer or something. Yes, well, some of it at least. I'm pretty sure I got all that. Oh, you weren't around when Raisin first got here, were you, Lots? When he arrived, he was just like this. You'd never know by how fluently he speaks our modern tongue, would you? Now that you mention it, he does use some funny words when he gets angry. But the letter that just arrived is written in standard script, isn't it? Over these 20 years, he's gained a total mastery of you. You didn't read the letter, did you? No, I just caught a glimpse of it in your hand. That's all. I'm sorry. Your Majesty? You little scamp. Oh, you rapscallion.
Did you still need me, or...?
Yes, that's right. It's a letter from Raisin. It appears the Crimean army has passed safely through Day and is on its way to the homeland.
Wonderful, but really though, where is that liquor cabinet?
Yes, Raisin is fine, but I wonder what happened. He doesn't give details, but he asks Phoenix to send its reinforcements. If Prince Raisin is asking for help, things must be fairly serious. I'd like nothing better than to take wing immediately, but I can't leave Lord Loriziah and Leanne here alone.
It's fine. I'm thinking house party.
No, that won't work.
Never let me do nothing.
Don't try that look on me. There's no way I'm taking you with me. Yeah, that's crazy talk.
You're gonna die soon.
I suppose it's time to put my plan into action. What is it?
Whatever.
I have no idea what it is either, man. Alright, I'm off to Galia to get things settled. Lots, I want you to look over Leanne and help her pack. Yes, sir. I'm sure nothing will go wrong.
You gonna help or just stare at me?
I don't have any idea what you're trying to say. Maybe I should talk louder.
Oh god, another genius. Where is the booze?
Do you want me to put this in that bag?
I'm gonna enjoy this.
Got it. In it goes. I'm getting the hang of this. I'm putting it in the bag.
Hey Lots, guess what?
What? Is something wrong?
Hurry up, asshole. I don't have all day here.
What are you? Over there? Behind me? What? Is someone behind me? Ugh, fuck, there was.
Oh,
dumbass.
If you want your father to be killed, then by all means keep screaming.
try me.
Well, that certainly happened. So now they have a heron, which is terrible because they also have the medallion. Ah, the prodigal son returns.
I have gained that which you requested. Thank God for war powder, right?
Show me.
This way.
See, war powder is kind of bullshit, I'm not gonna lie. What the hell is... what's it supposed to be? And if he has war powder, you'd think that he'd be able to harass us a lot more than he currently is. Sure, he shows up in a few maps, but I mean, honestly, he could just show up at our camp in the middle of the night, and that would be a wrap. El Rapo, we're done, stick a fork in us, you know? I really don't like when games introduce teleportation, because it always just makes things worse. It really does. Well, there's an explanation, I guess. But it's a dumb one. These Heron Royals all look alike, don't they? Oh my god, Ashnard, chill! We're living in 2017, honestly. Perhaps it proves their bloodline, but it's unsettling how similar they are.
I believe you had one in your possession previously.
Yes, I tried to get her to free the Dark God from the medallion, but all she did was get sick and die. Wow. Wow. They're ridiculously frail creatures. I should have just killed her in the first place and saved some time. You know, for as little screen time as Ashnard actually gets, at least he's constantly and consistently a dick every single time.
Might I suggest this one be treated with more care? Capturing her was not an easy task. Yeah, maybe don't starve her, keep her in a lightless room and beat her on a constant basis. That might help your plans just a little bit.
For you, it did take quite a long time, didn't it?
Diverting the sharp eyes of the Hawk King proved to be quite difficult. It required much planning and care.
Ha, don't tell me it was difficult. I know you. I know you used that arcane powder to travel about at will. Yes, thank you.
The powder drains my strength. For that reason, I would rather not use it unless absolutely necessary. And I will definitely not use that as an excuse later down the road.
You are an enigma, Dark One. Everything you possess is fey and of unknown origin.
The armor I presented you, do you find it dissatisfactory?
No, it has my approval. My wyvern Ragion and this armor which renders any enemy attack impotent. Both are well suited to me. They both shine because they are mine. And now the medallion and that Galdra as well. Both belong in my hands.
Will the revival of the Dark God take place soon?
Let me see. The conditions aren't bad. But how long will they continue? Haha, it's no matter. As long as all my chess pieces are on the board, things will work out. Soon every knee will bow to Ashnard. Is that so? So he's impervious to damage, so that's nice. What is going on? What happened here? My king. Lots, hold on. I'm so sorry. The princess... I tried speaking loudly. It didn't work. It didn't work. Who did this? Who was the craven dastard that did this to you? Knight in black armor. Ugh. Lots, no. Curse you, Dayan. This was evilly done. Well, if you think to play such a game, you'll not find me an easy mark. God, Tabarn is cool. I love that guy. I'm Marcia, we know. Okay, so let's get Soren promoted. What do you guys think about that? Let's do it. Class change. I do not remember, even in the slightest, what the promotion bonuses are. Hopefully they're decent. Mostly I'm looking forward to that additional movement points and stabs, honestly. I don't know how much combat sword is going to be doing. I really do not. Oh, some snazzy new robes. Now he's in purple. I can get down for that. Ooh. Hey, not bad. Not bad. Now, I could choose the ever-useful stab, but on the other hand, knives seem like they might be a pretty good option for somebody with 4 strength, you know. I do have that stiletto, which would allow him to deal effective damage versus armor knights, despite the fact that he's a fucking sage. Let's go with sage, or stabs. Yeah, how about stabs? With Ike, my Ike is really bad. I kinda don't like that, because it's gonna bite me in the ass really soon. Oh shoot, why not get Boyd a level? Yeah, why not get Boyd a level? Hit points, speed, luck, defense. You know, honestly at this point, I really just want him to get strength. I don't expect him to double things really, if he's a thwomp, that's good enough for me. I guess Nephany? I mean, I already used the thing on her, so I kind of have to at this point, don't I? Ooh, Asterisk could get a level up too. Would there be enough? It takes 72 points. Hey, I can give one to both. How about that? Please level up strength. Does the Wyvern Band increase strength? It does, I'm fairly certain. I don't remember off the top of my head, I'll be honest, but it should. It's a Wyvern Band. There we go. My Nephany has so much defense. She has so much friggin' defense. She should not have 16 defense. And 1 to Astrid. I honestly don't know if I want her to try and level up strength or speed. I think speed, because if she can start doubling things, she's automatically that much better, you know what I mean? So let's roll with this. Strength, res, what? Where's my speed? Can you believe that she got like 3 levels with the Night Ward equipped and not once did she get speed? Not once did she get speed. That's... wow. What are the chances on that? Honestly. So plenty of that. Should probably make some kind of weapon. Can I buy silvers yet? Oh, I can buy silver lances here. Wait, what happened to my brave bow? I had a brave bow, what the hell? Oh, come on, man. It just disappeared. What? That just doesn't make any sense. I definitely had a brave bow. Why is the hammer only worth 900 gold? What? I'm not gonna sell it regardless, but that seems pretty stupid. Oh, there's 4,000 right there. Could probably start tossing some of these bands too. Alright, with this we should be good. And now we can officially poke our enemies to death. And by we, I mean Marcia. What color? White, I guess? Yeah, let's go with white. Let's go with white. Oh. She's still holding all those spears, man. I forgot to do supports last time, huh? Hey, you there. Hold on. Huh? Why is a pretty girl like you covering your face with an unfashionable helmet like that? The world should see your beauty. It's a travesty, I tell you. A veritable crime against nature. Oh, and where is your makeup? Well, I ain't really a makeup kind of gal. Ain't? Where are you from, missy? I'm from around. Such an unsociable girl. Well, you can't fool Khalil. I know that you're not much of a talker. You're embarrassed about your country accent and low speech, are you not? How do I know that? Well, I used to have a friend with the same problem. But you're from the city, and you're so elegant? Yes, indeed, quite so. Oh, but I have an absolutely splendid idea. I'll teach you to talk like a true lady. Having a rube like you around will just make me miss the city anyway. I'll show you how to put on makeup. Nephene's just not having any of this. I ain't really down with that. A lady never says such things. I can see this will be a bit of work. Well, you leave everything to me, missy. Help, send help. Brom Nephene, go. Where are those barracks anyway? I'm not sure. How do these guys know where to go without getting lost? Moving from one camp to the next every day, never resting, bad food. Oh, it's got me all worked up. It's a war. There ain't nothing you can do. We just have to get used to it. I guess you're right. You and I were strangers to war before. I know. That's why I don't quite understand what passes for normal around here. Oh, you can talk to Brahm just fine. I guess Nephene really is just intimidated by, like, city folk. Or whatever you want to call them. That's neat. I tell you, it sure was tough when I first volunteered. For one thing, we militiamen are nothing but a bunch of farmers and villagers. We had courage and determination to spare, but we sure lacked talent. I know what you mean, Brahm. There weren't even enough gear for us. There weren't even enough gear. That's nice attention to detail. They gave me a bow and told me to share it with another gal. But neither one of us knew how to use it anyhow. Yup, I hear you well. The war broke out so suddenly, the only decent training we got was how to stand for roll call. Every time we marched, people got lost or strayed or fled. We were losing soldiers before we even saw the enemy. That's why I don't feel bad about being taken prisoner. But this army is real good compared to my last one. Well, what did you expect? We're in a real army now. Horse feathers. What are those barracks? Where are those barracks? I know what they are, but where are they? Oh, enough walking. My feet hurt. And my back is sore. Let's just ask someone. Ask someone? Fine. You do it. What? What's wrong? I'm not used to talking with city folk. Yeah, see, that's exactly what it was, too. Huh. What are you afraid of? Just talk like you always do. Oh no. I'm a country gal. They're all set to laughing. She's really embarrassed about the way she speaks. Aw. Bastion, Lucia. Not that I'm going to be using Lucia, but really, who else is Bastion going to support, right? Good day, Count Bastion. Ah, Lady Lucia. What an exquisite pleasure. Would you allow me to place a kiss upon your creamy white hand? No. No. Sorry, my lord. I've been sharpening my blade, and I know how to use it. Well then. Nonsense. I have no objections, milady. The grime merely accentuates your beauty. I have objections, Bastion. Seriously, I was trying to be nice, but... she addresses me so curtly. But it only stokes my furnace of attraction. It is only in my nature to hunt and pursue a tantalizing beast that flees me. You have such a devious grip on my heart. Don't even think I'm gonna fall for that trick.
It might work with the others, but I'm no doe-eyed fawn. Why don't you just give up already?
Ah, splendid. This fawn has sharp hooves, but still she spurns my advance. Next time I shall woo her with words. Good luck with that, bud. I wish you the best, bud. Vulcan Bastion. What would they have to talk about, I wonder? You there in the bushes. You have until the count of 5 to show yourself before I start throwing sharp objects. 1, 2, 4, 8. Wait. Oh dear. Keep those daggers sheathed, dearest Volk. I can see why you've earned such a reputation. Oh, hello, Bastion. You weren't the fellow I was expecting to see. Indulge my curiosity for a moment. Who are you working for? Knowing you, I'm surprised you haven't already checked on what I had for breakfast. So, it's true then. You are working for Crimean under Commander Ike? I serve no nation. I work for Ike himself. And why is that? 10,000. 10,000? Pay me and I'll answer that question. Ha ha ha! You had no intention of answering my question, so you came up with some outrageous sum. Very well. I'm not a charity. Get lost if you can't afford my fee. What has I got brewing in that brain of his that involves this scrutinous man of the shadows? Methinks I should look into this forthwith. Indeed. Verily. Ergo. Racing in Tormod. Sure. While we're doing it, right?
Mighty Prince of the Heron Clan. Yes, I am Racing. Who are you? I'm Tormod. I was hoping to ask you something. I apologize. You caught me off guard. What do you require? That song of yours, does it work on everything? You mean the chant? Yes, whatever it was that made the drab forest bloom with color. You speak of the Galder, the Sade magic. What of it? Would you please sing it for all of us? All of you? Yes, for my Laguz friends back in Grand Desert. So, you're the leader of the Laguz Liberation Force, but you're not much older than a child. Do you have a problem with that? No, no problem at all. It's just, ever since I heard whispers of a Bayark fighting to free the Begnion slaves, I wondered what kind of man he was. You're different than I had envisioned. So I'm young. So what? It doesn't matter. It doesn't make what I'm doing any less important. So are you gonna help us or not? I'll gladly lend you whatever support I can give you, but what would you have me do? I knew you'd come through. Let's see. Oh wait. What is it? I'm not quite ready yet. The time isn't right. I'd like to talk to you about this in more detail, so please allow me to come back later when I have more time. See you later. Bear children are so restless. I just figured why not do that. I don't see myself bringing a race in. Tormod I could still honestly use just because he can use Meteor off the bat, which is neat. I think that was a good decision to allow him to do that. And you know, Celerity's decent enough. I could do Rolf and Shinon, but honestly, I don't like them. I like Shinon. I like Rolf, but I don't really... whatever. Mister, excuse me, mister. Are you gonna go into those mountains? There are lots of soldiers wearing black up there. Those guys, they killed my papa and burned our village. That's why we went to the mountains in the first place. You're gonna go up there and take care of them, aren't you? Gonna make them pay? Please, mister, say that you are. My mom and my sister and me don't have anywhere else to go, and I want to go back to the cabin my papa built. I understand. We're gonna take care of those guys. You just stay here for a bit longer, alright? Yay! Go give them heck, mister. Oh, wait. I heard those guys talking about something, too. They said if anyone comes up the mountain single file, they'll get him all at once. It was something like that, anyway. Really? That's a lot of help. Thanks. But how are they gonna do that? What, are they gonna drop rocks on our head? Good luck, mister. Kill them all. Do it for my papa. Whoa. Excuse me, do you have a moment? Forsooth! What ho! My eyes behold Sir Ike! Pray tell, what would you ask of me, good sir? Well, I just wanted to tell you to knock that shit off, man. No, I just wanted to chat. I try to speak with all the members of the army when I have a minute. I see, a fine idea, good sir. Some generals hope their soldiers all to be aloof, and ready always for the fight. If all goes well, sweet happiness abounds, but if the tides do turn, then anger grows. One wonders if he can lead men at all. I too am often plagued by such grim thoughts. Yeah, listen, Yet you walk out among your men-at-arms, spin tales, tell jokes, and lend a willing ear. Huzzah, dear sir! Huzzah until the end! In truth, I did much fear your name at first. I swore to find the mettle of the man, and studied you with cautious, steady eye. I thought to find yourself a brutish rogue, a villain crafty in his fiendish plans, with status and great wealth his only goals. Had such been your own ethic and deceit, I would have taken measures sure and swift to see your person vanished in the night. Yet lo, what do I find before mine eyes? A man so noble, true, and without peer, as would beset the moon herself with lust. General? Huh? What? Sorry about that. Must have dozed off. It's just you're so wordy. What were you saying? Something about the moon or something? Commander, you are tired and unaware of how your body doth cry out for rest. If it would please you, I was of mind to partake in a sweet and soothing draught, a beverage warm and pleasant to the lips. If you're offering me a cup of tea in your tent, I'll accept. That is what you're offering, right? Oh, and I apologize in advance if I fall asleep again. I'm, really tired. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Your words do make my ears alive with joy. I shall regale you with a tale or two and poems to cease the savage toll of war. Yeah, you do that, Bastion. You do that. You do you, man. Hey there, little man. I've got a serious business with the general of this army. Take a message, will you? Why does everybody keep doing this? And you would be? The name's Largo, and I'm a world-class berserker. World-class berserker. That's a rather dubious title. What's this? You doubting my strength? I can pin a tiger with my bare hands. That's not just hot air either. Dubious. You think I'm fooling with you? Have your general hire me and then see for yourself. You can decide how much I'm worth after you see me in action. But let me tell you, if the gold's not good enough, I'm gone. Huh? All this sounds very familiar. But at least you're confident. Yeah, where have we heard this before? Like I said, world-class berserker. Here, watch me bend this lance. That was my last silver lance, you dick. So, you can hire this man, or you can not hire this man. There's no point in not hiring this man, so let's hire this man. Alright, you're in. Yeah, so, how about taking me to meet the general? I'm the general. That's good. You're a funny little guy. So, seriously, where's the general then? Must be that big one over there. Largo?
Hey, I thought I'd find you here, Khalil. You're looking hot. Almost as hot as me.
Did you come looking for little old me? Oh, how sad for you. My contract with this army isn't up for quite some time.
Yeah, I thought you'd say that. That's why I'm joining up too.
What? Are you really gonna hire Largo, General Ike?
That's the plan. Huh? This little guy really is the general? Don't I look like the biggest fool around? And I mean big. Seriously, look at these muscles. You can grind meat on these babies. Sorry if I offended you, little guy.
Oh, he's such a clown. But you made a good hire. After all, he's a world-class berserker, yes.
Yeah, I heard.
He pinned a tiger with his bare hands, don't you know? 2 of them, actually, at the same time.
Yeah, that was awesome. Definitely bullshit. Okay, so that's Largo. Let's hold up. Let's see what he has to offer. Say, Joffrey joined us too. What does Joffrey have to offer besides his brave lance? Alrighty, so here is Joffrey. He is basically, in my case, just another Oscar, more or less. But unfortunately, he doesn't have that hella sweet support. He has a fire affinity, which, you know, it works, but he doesn't have as much time to build up supports, obviously. He doesn't have as much time to contribute, but he's a decent enough filler unit in his own right. For gross, he has 65 hit points, 50 strength, 25 magic, 55 skill, 55 speed, 20 luck, 45 defense, and 45 resistance. Again, like a lot of these late joining units, basically all of Valencia's retainers, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, they all have really good growth rates and everything, but they're a really high level and they joined really late. Not really too much else to add about him. He's just a paladin. He has lances and bows. And he comes with... Excuse me, he comes with Paragon. So he actually levels up twice as fast as a unit of a comparable level and everything, but he's still just... He's just okay, right? He's just okay. There's not really too much more to it than that. And we also got Largo. And if Joffrey is Oscar Light, then Largo is Boyd Light. Although this Largo is actually a bit faster than Boyd. He has 80% hit points, 70% strength, 5% magic, 45 skill, 45 speed, 30 luck, 25 defense, 20 resistance. Very much a glass cannon. Very much a glass cannon. And unfortunately here in Maniac mode, he does not have the 15% critical bonus, so he doesn't even have that over Boyd. Doesn't have bows or anything. They're not the same class, but they are the most directly comparable units, so I would say that Boyd is probably better than Largo, on average. I would certainly say the mine is more useful, although again, this Largo is faster, has a little bit more HP, so that might matter if he's facing magical attacks. But really, he's just another filler unit, in all honesty. Not a bad unit by any means, just not somebody I'm going to be using. I don't really think there's anything else I need to do. Now, let's go on. Let's go on. Rodolphe, whereabouts is the Galian army encamped? Whoa there, Ike, you been hanging around Bastion too much? Yeah, it's a serious problem. Just over those mountains. So we're finally gonna join forces. Reports say the King Ashnard is gathering his forces in the capital. The time to work together is certainly upon us. Ike, there's an enemy ambush waiting for us on that mountain. If we go around that mountain and avoid it, how much time will we lose? A couple of days at least. In that case, we've no choice but to go through them, right? Agreed. Wait a second. Isn't this where there's usually some sort of discussion? Hello? No, fuck discussion. We're men. Lay it out there, baby. Let's go. That doesn't look so bad. If it's defeat boss, but I don't think it is, right? The enemy's approach, sir. Listen up, men. Let them get as close as possible before pushing the rocks over the cliff. We must not let Crimean join forces with those subhumans. Always subhumans with these guys. You got some right there. Those are feral ones though, right? So technically, yeah, I guess. Okay. Commander, the foes are encamped on top of this rise. I wonder what sort of trap they have this time. Those boulders didn't get up there all by themselves. Are they seriously gonna roll them down on us? At first glance, it seems a simplistic trap, but these narrow paths make avoiding the rocks impossible. I think they may be surprisingly effective. So, we run up the mountain as quickly as possible and smash the enemy, right, Commander? Right. How did you... I know. Genius. Actually, that is the best plan. Try to avoid the boulders and reach the top as quickly as possible. Once there, defeat the general. Right. Move out. Oh, is it defeat boss? Because that'd be sweet. No, it's route. Bummer. Oh, I can steal a physic. I can steal a physic. That's awesome. I'm bringing bulk for sure. I'm for sure bringing bulk. We can only bring 12. We can only bring 12. Man, look at this guy. I mean, he's not really scary statistically or anything, but just look at him. He looks intimidating. I'll give you that. What does he have? Increases... Oh, he has resolve. That's a little bit scary. It's just ever so slightly scary. So I guess the best way to take him out would be... just sort of deal with him all at once. If that makes sense, right? Don't want to be dealing with a resolve boosted enemy. But yeah, let's try it. Let's try it. So... this guy is a siege tome. This guy is a siege tome. This guy is a siege tome. They're a ballista all around. And of course, as they said, the enemy is going to push down these boulders and try to kill us that way. And if you're in the path of the boulder, it hits you guaranteed. It's not like you can dodge the boulders, so you have to think about that. It's a little bit annoying, to be honest. It's a little bit annoying, but it's not like... I don't think it's a bad thing. I don't think it's like a bad design choice, per se. It's just one more thing to think about. Now, what would be nice And what should have been included, I think, would have been a way to see the trajectory of the boulders, because there's really just no way to know where the boulders are going to go unless you happen to have it memorized. What? Huh? Well, I didn't account for that at all. So this is somehow... Okay, hold on. That's bad. I need to rethink this. I need to rethink this already. So, horses have a penalty on this entire map? On the entire map? What? Why? Oh. Oh. Hold on. What is going on, everybody? It is Deltray, approaching you all from the future. Yes, that's right, we're doing another post-commentary section. I decided to just speed up this entire chapter because, one, I didn't have a whole lot of fun playing it, and if I didn't have a whole lot of fun playing it, I felt like, logically, people would not have a whole lot of fun watching it. It just seemed to make sense to me, and honestly... This one isn't too thought-provoking. It is a round map. I think we covered that part of it. So I have to kill every single enemy on this map. And I think by this point, most people watching probably know how I feel about the combat, especially in the endgame portions here. I don't think it's very good. To be perfectly blunt, I don't think it's very good. It's not the worst thing ever. I've definitely played worse games, but... I just don't find it to be all that interesting, especially not for a route map. It just seems like I wouldn't have too much to really add to it at this point, really. We all know what I'm going to do. For the most part, the idea is to use Marcia, Titania, etc. to gain the attention of as many enemies as possible and kill as many enemies as possible as you can in a single turn. Now, that might be somewhat of an oversimplification, yes. Especially given the unique twist that this map decides to throw your way. Namely, in that mounted units and generals as well for some reason, because, haha, fuck Brahm, I guess. Oh, did you like Gotri? Too bad. Good luck on this map, asshole. So, mounted units and generals receive a movement penalty. It basically cuts your movement in half, so if they have a movement, now they have 4. And that's really the main twist with this one. So you can't use mounted units. You basically have to use nothing but foot soldiers, which I have mixed feelings about. On one hand, you know, it's interesting to me that for once, mounted units have an actual, honest-to-God, tangible reason to be ignored, right? In favor of foot soldiers. And so rarely... in these Fire Emblem games, is that ever the case? No matter what the game, right? Movement is key. Movement is always the best stat. There's really no two ways about it. If you have higher movement than a unit with comparable stats, then as the unit with higher movement, you are the better unit. That's all there is to it, really. There's no weakness that a Paladin, for example, can have. There's no weakness that a Wyvern Lord or a Pegasus Knight can have that compensates for that higher movement. It's just too much of an inherent advantage, really. But the reason I say that it's sort of a double-edged sword on a map like this is because throughout this entire game, you are encouraged to use these high movement units. You're encouraged to use these mounted units. If you have a slower playstyle, you might feel encouraged to use generals because they would have more of a use in that sort of playstyle. And then here comes this map that says, no, screw all that. I hope you were using sword masters and halberdiers, otherwise you're going to have a bad time, son. And I did. I had a bad time. I did not enjoy myself. I can say that much for free. No, this is the successful run, obviously, but just know that there were several failed attempts before this. And they usually ended in increasingly stupid ways. Like, for example, one time I had Jill get critical hit by one of these sages with an Elf Thunder, so that was probably the most fun that I had with this map. Other times, I would basically have every attack that I needed to dodge connect in the same turn, and that's basically a loss. That's another thing that I didn't really care for about this map. whether you win or lose is going to be decided on how your first 2 turns go, and that's really nothing particularly unusual, right? But the thing that makes it more annoying, less favorable for a strategy game in my opinion, is that these factors are not necessarily what you're doing, and it doesn't have to do with the moves that you make so much as if the RNG falls in your favor or not. For example, like I said, I've had runs end because Stefan, I think I said Zehar again, but Stefan or Marcia would just take every hit, and they realistically don't face higher than 40% under most circumstances. And there would be runs where they would just get hit. Every single attack would just connect. So instantly you lose in that scenario. Or instantly I lose in that scenario, I should say. Because I'm sure that there are other ways to play this game. Speaking of which, due to the fact that the last time I played, I sort of pointed out some of the things I didn't like about this game. One of you guys had made a pretty long thought out comment. And I believe I already mentioned that in this video. But one of the points that somebody had brought up was that, you know, the only perspective they had, the only basis they had for this Maniac mode thing was this playthrough of mine that they were watching. So I thought to myself, okay, you know what, that's fair. You know, I shouldn't just be making these snap judgments based on nothing but my own gameplay experience. There are lots of ways to play this game. So what I did was I went to the old YouTube on the old internets, looked up some other playthroughs, notably one that the one that had sort of caught my eye was a low turn count playthrough of Maniac mode. And if you were wondering what that would look like, picture everything that I have done so far, but just like 10 times harder. So if I funneled experience into 5 units, picture that, only funneled experience into 3 units. If I'm moving at a brisk pace, picture moving at twice that speed, because now you have access to a dancer and whatnot. And what really struck me as odd was the fact that even in a low turn count setting, a lot of these issues that I have brought up and that you guys have brought up seem like they are still omnipresent, and that's pretty unusual to me. Usually in a game like that, in a low turn count setting, now I'm not just saying that's the only way to play it, it's most certainly not. This is far from a game like that, but it's one of those things where you kind of push the game to its limits when you're doing that, right? So I feel like it's a reasonable place to look for validation or disagreement with what my feelings have been in the last few maps. But what struck me as interesting about the low turn count that I saw was that they were using the critical hit glitch. And that's not to take anything away from the particular run that I saw. It's just so strange to me. It would be like seeing a Fire Emblem 7 low turn count that revolved around the mine glitch, you know? You don't see that because in Fire Emblem 7, it's not necessary. The game doesn't force your hand in the same way the Fire Emblem 9 does. In order to move quickly in this game, you have to do certain things that just feel not right, I guess, for lack of a better word. I know that's not a very clear thought. I'm not painting a very clear picture with that phrasing, but it just doesn't feel as rewarding, I suppose. It doesn't feel like the core of your strategy is what determines your success on every single map. Now, that's not the case for every map in this game, right? Especially the early to mid game. Now, those sections of this game, while certainly more difficult than on a lower difficulty setting, certainly more difficult than lower difficulty settings, they still felt sort of strategic in a way. And, you know, even on a map like this, there is some strategy to be had. It's unfortunate that it also feels as though RNG plays a bigger factor in success or failure than it would otherwise in certain other iterations of the series. In a second here, I actually do something pretty interesting where, well, it's coming up in any second now. Basically what has happened is I have defeated the boss and I've triggered a wave of 5 reinforcements, 5 Wyvern Lords, and they caught me a little bit off guard. I knew they were coming, but Ike is in danger. If every Wyvern Lord hits him, he's gonna die. So I take Khalil any second now, and I use a bolting on one of the Wyvern Lords, and then I do the same thing with Bastion, And the reason I do this here, and the reason I feel like this is worth explaining, is because it's sort of more strategic than a lot of what this map is. The reason I have attacked that Wyvern Lord in such a way is to lower his health to the point where now he's not going to attack Ike. What he's going to do instead is run away and use a vulnerary. Now, that's really silly that they're going to do that, because believe me, they can kill Ike 100% if everything hit him, and they have fairly decent accuracy as well. Ike would die and I would lose the map instantly. But because I'm able to sort of manipulate the AI into not doing that by just simply lowering its health, I'm able to survive. And I thought that was a neat little bit of strategy that I was able to use on this map, but that's not something inherent to this map. That's something that I was able to do because, well, for all intents and purposes, I fucked up, right? I put Ike in a situation where he would be killed, which isn't good. So, that being said, the most strategic thing that I had to do on this map was a direct result of me fucking up, which is, it's kind of lame. It's kind of lame. I do like the fact that you can do things like that, and perhaps it's something I should have been doing more frequently all along, but it just goes to really show that at the end of the day, there's not a whole lot going on in this map. Now, I'm sure by now we've noticed that the enemies are pushing boulders down onto me, and they deal a fixed amount of damage, and I believe I began to speak about this back when I was doing more live commentary as opposed to post commentary. But that whole gimmick is, it's sort of reminiscent of the Great Bridge thing, right? Where it's not bad on paper, but the thing that makes it bad, or the thing that makes it frustrating, is a complete and total lack of transparency by the game. Because there have been situations, this just reminded me of another instance where I lost on this map. You've seen by now that the boulders are sort of sporadic in their movements. While they do somewhat follow a logical path, they very often break off that path, even if they are going down the same route as a boulder previously went. Like, two boulders side by side, pushed in the same direction, don't necessarily go the same way, if that makes sense. So I lost a run to that once, because I thought I was in a safe zone and I was not. And again, I can't remember if I said this in the live commentary part or not, but something that would have really helped with that would have simply been to include a trajectory, or a path of trajectory for the boulders. And I feel like in a strategy game, that should be a no-brainer, right? It's not necessarily more strategic to withhold information from the player. I don't feel that it is. I don't feel like making me play a guessing game has anything to do with strategy. I don't feel like memorization has anything to do with strategy. It's just something I've not agreed with in any Fire Emblem game, really. This is far from the only game to do it. It's just that the instances that it does happen in this game tend to be a little bit more unfair, I feel. And this map is certainly no exception. Let me give you an example. I don't think that reinforcements appearing without direct warning, without like a text box or something, like the enemy commander comes up and says, "Aha, we're gonna get him now." That doesn't have to happen on every map. I think that there are very clear, very reliable ways to tell where reinforcements will spawn, for example. And I'm using reinforcements as an example because that's another factor that you could argue requires memorization and other such non-skill factors. But the difference there is that there's sort of a pattern recognition to that, right? Reinforcements tend to sort of spawn from the same locations in every game. And those locations would be the edges of the map, staircases, forts, right? And I think that as long as the reinforcements are not deviating from that, there doesn't need to be a strict reinforcements on turn 9 announcement or something like that. But when you're dealing with actual map hazards, I feel like there should be a little bit more transparency, because you need that kind of transparency in order to form a strategy. You need that kind of transparency in order to have a clear plan of what you're going to do and how you're going to do it. And I think that a map like this really fails on that. Although it does have an interesting gimmick, I would like to see a map like this again if they can be a little bit more clear with what's going on. Like this situation right here where I'm moving Stefan, right? Who, by the way, has been kicking all kinds of ass this map. I don't know who he thinks he is. Maybe he thinks he's Marcia, but he is just, oh my god, I don't think I would have been able to do this without this man. He just went all in, balls to the wall. I sidetracked myself with that. What I was saying, though... Right, so where I have moved Stefan right now is a perfect example of what I was trying to say. You'll see here on the enemy phase that he's going to be hit by all 3 of those boulders, but all 3 of them go in completely different directions. So, as the player, you're left completely in the dark about that. Now, you can obviously assume that where Stefan is not safe. That makes sense. I'm okay with that part. That part makes complete and total sense to me. But if I were moving other units up that side of the mountain alongside Stefan to support my attack or whatever you want to say, if I'm moving other units up that side of the mountain that are perhaps weakened for whatever reason, and they were to get hit by one of the boulders that goes off into a completely different direction, that can feel kind of cheap. That can feel frustrating. That's not necessarily what I would call good design. I think this one right here goes in a completely different way. So, as a player, you're kind of left frustrated. There's really no two ways about it. You're just kind of left frustrated by some of the design decisions on this map, and so many of them that could have been easily mitigated, especially the boulders. Now, one more aspect that I really just didn't enjoy necessarily about this map was the siege tome assholes. Now, I've actually spoken out in defense of the siege tome use in this game to some extent, right? I don't think that it's honestly that horrible, but I feel like on this map they went way overboard, and I will explain why. The thing that makes it worse on this map than previous maps, for example, chapter 21, I believe it was, the chapter where you fight Hina. The thing that makes these siege tomes more annoying is that you're constantly in range of multiple siege tomes at almost all times if you're trying to push up the mountainside. And not only that, but the siege tome users themselves are almost impossible to access without going through every other enemy in the way. Now, there have been examples of siege tomes that are difficult to get to, and there have been examples of siege tomes that you have to go through a large wave of enemies to get to so far, but never really both at the same time. Just because I have to go through a large group of enemies doesn't necessarily mean it's difficult to get to the siege tome, but the thing that makes it difficult on this map is that only Marcia can do it. Marcia is literally the only person capable of getting to the siege tome users in a reasonable time frame because of the design of the map, right? She has that flight utility so she can easily get there. But being that she's a main combat unit, okay, she doesn't have the time to go up there and destroy the siege tome assholes, because if you do that, then the swaths and giant waves of enemies that are coming down the mountainsides are going to overwhelm your lesser troops. Or, again, in my case, they're going to overwhelm my lesser troops. I don't have multiple units that can do what Marcia can do, you know what I mean? She's very much irreplaceable. What she is doing basically decides how the map is going to go. Everybody else is just along for the ride, man. It's her world, we're all just living in it. And you think I'm joking, but no, that's honestly kind of how it goes. The only other person that could normally keep a pace with her would be Titania, of course. But she's severely gimped on this map. And it's just, ugh. Just dealing with these siege tomes is just not good. Because what it does is essentially force you to dodge. It essentially forces you to dodge or play at such a slow pace that you're gonna fall. You're practically gonna fall asleep, and I can't really see myself doing that either personally, and especially not if I'm trying to do a let's play, right? That just seems so boring to me. If I were to have just waited at the base of the mountain for God knows how many turns, it just doesn't feel right. And I feel like they definitely could have improved upon that by toning down the amount of siege tomes present on this map. It just doesn't work in this case. It just does not work in this case. But overall, I did not enjoy this map. I just simply did not enjoy this map. It's not the worst thing I've ever played by any stretch of the imagination. I know I've said that and I will say it again. There are plenty of redeeming things about this game. In some instances, yes, even including the gameplay itself. But this map just really didn't do it for me. And I know that a lot of people think that the Great Bridge is probably the low point of this game. I would say this. Some people have pointed out some other things I could have done on the previous chapter, so I can't necessarily say that that is the worst, because in all likelihood that was just me messing up. But on this one, I just don't see it. There are things that are inherently wrong with it, you know what I mean? Things that are just punishing to the player, lack of transparency, gratuitous use of siege tomes, etc. But I think I'm just about out of time. Let's hop back to the live commentary, and I will catch you all there. Peace. Oh, thank God. I honestly thought I was gonna have to wait for that one asshole. Oh my lord, this map drove me insane. I'm not even gonna lie to you guys. This map actually, ooh. Well, what's done is done. Is this a lot of them? It looked like there were more of them from down there. Oh, of course. No, we've got you. Eat rock. Eat rock. I'm pretty clever. Oh yeah, man. Oh yeah, man. Ah! Above us, look out. Oh yeah? Eat Talon! Oh, I'm pretty clever. Should write that one down. I'm not king for nothing. Phew, just in the nick of time. Need a hand? Oh, now see that? See, that's a line. Take notes, Mr. Soldier. Tabarn managed to swoop in and sound like a badass. Tabarn, you came. Well met, Rayson. And well met to the rest of you as well, warriors of Crimea. How did you come to be here? I thought I'd help you wipe out Dayin. That's good news for us, but if something suddenly happened, why did you suddenly decide to help? I asked for his aid. We must defeat King Dayin. To that end, the more powerful we are, the better, yes? So that's the story, is it? So does that mean you'll be joining us? Oh my, no. It's true that Rayson requested my aid. However, that's not the only reason that I'm here. What is it? In a moment. First, let us meet with the King of Lions. He waits for us at the foot of the mountain. Understood. Come on, everyone. Let's get off this peak and take a rest at the bottom. Please, a well-deserved rest. Because that was horseshit.
King Kanagus, it's an honor to see you again.
First, let me offer you my congratulations. You've made quite the triumphant return, Princess Alincia.
Thank you. And allow me to express my gratitude for having the Kingdom of Galia fighting at our side. Your presence fills me with strength.
During the short interim, you've managed to turn the tide of the war. To be honest, I'm quite surprised.
I didn't come this far on my own.
Hell no, she didn't. Have you done anything yet, Alincia? Come on now.
My Lord Ike and his brave companions were with me. It was only with the support of that many that I was able to return home.
Yes, my reports cover most of that. Everything that happened in Begnion and in Dayin as well.
As to that, about
King Galia, Princess Crimea. I apologize for interrupting the festivities, but there's something I must discuss with you. Would you gather over there? Yeah, they kind of had the medallion and a heron. Oh jeez. This group contains the people who were at the heart of that last battle, correct?
Yes, it is.
I don't know, I'm not seeing Marcia nor Titania here, so, What about those two children? Surely they weren't involved. Children. This is Soren. He's my tactician. And this is my sister, Miss. Before we begin this war council, there's something I need to share with all of you. It's a story that involves my parents as well. I've kept most of it from my sister, but I felt this would be a good chance for her to hear it, so I asked her to join us. Understood. Go on. It all begins when we met Princess Alincia and escorted her to the I guess that could work. It does say meet, right? It all begins when we meet Princess Alincia and escorted her into the forest of Galia. That could work, though. That could work. I'm not here to nitpick. And that is everything I know. You didn't say anything. You just faded to black. Oh, is that right?
Father, is that how... Mom? That's not true, is it? Miss, do you want to leave? No, I'm alright. I'm just a little confused. Miss.
That's the whole of it, eh? So this wasn't ever just a dispute between Crimean and Dayin. There was something else in play the entire time.
What could King Ashnard's ultimate goal possibly be? He has risked everything, even surrendering his own country.
20 years ago, even before he became king, he tried to release the Dark God from within the medallion. However, he was thwarted by the actions of Grail and Elena. What manner of being is this Dark God? What would happen if it were to be freed from its prison? I fear the world would once again be beset by natural calamity, much like it was 800 years ago. At that time, all the world, save Teleus, was drowned beneath the seas.
That is a true story? I thought it nothing more than a fable.
We have living proof. Goldoa's king, Dagensia. He and 2 other heroes fought alongside the goddess herself to defeat the Dark One.
King Goldoa is one of the legendary heroes, but he's still alive.
The Black Dragon King is a living fossil, and as stubborn as anything alive. He's been trying to control the rest of us for years, and he's always says the same thing. Do not fan the flames of strife. As long as Laron's medallion exists, you must never begin a war that engulfs the entire continent. Oh, and wouldn't you know it? Never begin a war. It's possible. Perhaps there is more than one way for the Dark God to gain its freedom. Aho, aren't you the clever one? That's just what the Black Dragon King says, yet the truth of that is unknown. There's a war going on right now, but the Dark God is nowhere in sight, is it? I think we would know, guys. Could it be? I think I may finally know Ashnard's intentions. Really? King Goldoa said that a conflict which engulfs the entire continent would free the Dark God from the medallion. Let us assume that the war would have such an effect on the medallion no matter where it was, or who possessed it. And let's also assume that the King of Dayin thinks this as well. I can hear him now. Where is the tinder for the blaze I need? That was a terrible impression, Sword. Shut up, Ike. The answer to this question proved to be an easy one. Yet he had to find a way to test his theory. So he attacked neighboring Crimea. It had to be Crimea. Begnion was too big, too powerful. Dayin would have lost. Crimea, however, is a country known more for its scholarship than its military strength. Dayin probably felt that a surprise invasion would let them win while taking minimal casualties themselves. And they were right. Crimea was easy prey. King Hermone was also friendly towards Laguz. I imagine that this too influenced Dayin's decision. If things went well, the conflict would be enough to engulf Crimea's ally, Gallia, and the fires would spread. First Crimea, then Gallia, and eventually Begnion as well. Dayin's power would increase and strife and discord would spread across the land, eventually reaching the Lost Medallion. So you believe King Dayin's goal is to awaken the Dark God after all? At the very least, it's one of his ambitions. There can be no mistaking that. But why? Which means that our plan to attack him at the capital fits right into his strategy, doesn't it? It's the trigger he needs to break the Dark God's bonds. Even if that's true, we can't stop now. This war has gone too far for that. I agree. We have to smash Dayin to end its menace once and for all. We bury every one of them and finish it. Agreed. That's the only plan that makes any sense.
If only we had the medallion with us. What is it, Rayson? Is there a way to avoid all this?
Oh yeah, by the way, no,
We, that is, the descendants of Laron, we have a gift. Through the power of the Slumber Gulger, we have the ability to suppress the chaotic energies of the Dark God in the medallion. So, even if a massive battle occurred, if it were in my possession, I might be able to... I'm so sorry. It's because of my carelessness that the medallion was lost in the first place.
Miss, I told you that it wasn't your fault, didn't I?
But... You were never careless, Miss. I know you. You kept the medallion next to you at all times. You told me that it was a keepsake of your mother's, and you always took good care of it, didn't you? That's why it's not your fault. So please don't punish yourself anymore, alright? Princess Silencia.
She's right. And besides, the Dark God could be released no matter where the medallion is. So it's nothing to worry about. Only the end of the world. Come on, what are all the frowns about, man?
Thank you, Ranulf.
Alright, it's time for you to hear what I have to say. Rayson.
Yes?
I'm sorry. Huh? For what? Leanne's been kidnapped. It may have been by Dayin's hand.
That can't be.
Why would Leanne be taken? The release Gulger can only be sung by the girl Tina, right?
But Ashnard doesn't know that.
Exactly, that's exactly what I was about to say, actually. Oh no. Oh no. What a mess. Nothing can ever be clear and simple, can it? Fuck you, Ranulf. Oh, sorry, don't know what came over me. Whew. That map sucked. That map sucked. Didn't like it. Not gonna harp too much about this though. So thank you all for watching. If you did enjoy, feel free to leave a like and a comment. Do whatever you guys want to do. We're coming in hot on the end of the game. Only 3 more chapters to go, and we will continue that next time. See y'all later. Peace.